I'm going to talk about the fear that we all get, myself included, you, definitely you. Um, and that's the fear of, releasing your music to the world. I've done it countless times in terms of different approaches with this. I've wrote blogs about it. I've done short TikToks and so on and so on. About get your music out, don't be afraid. And the fact is, no matter how many of those videos I do, or blog posts, or whatever, or try to inspire people to do it and not worry about anything, obviously it still happens. And I just want to kind of talk to you basically again about releasing your music and why you need to, if you're struggling with this, that is, of course, is get over it. Gradually get over it. It's almost like a reminder. Now, basically, I'm going to kind of give you two angles here: modern day approach and the old school approach before the internet. When I first made my first demos way back in 1993 on a Fostex 4-track tape recorder and a Casio SK5 sampler keyboard, the most simplest of equipment, no EQ, no had a tiny little bit of bass and treble on the Fostex tape deck, but I was happy as anything with those pieces of equipment. You know what I mean? I was like, this was it. The world is opening up here. I can do this, that, and the other. And you had to record a bit of, beat off a vinyl and then, a piano off the keyboard, which was really rubbish quality. But the point is, I made these demos and I got samples from here and samples from here. I had a 4-track tape recorder and I used to stretch the capabilities. I used to max it out as much as I could. And I would record in a record on 45, a drum beat like that, and then it was really on 33, and then slow it back down to the sampler so I could get that extra bit of sample time out. Stretched it to its capacity. Anyway, I'd make these demos. They were really crude, really rough, really raw, live demos, pressing these little loop pads, these sample pads on the sampler keyboard in time with in live. Dead hard work to do, and it took me months and months to get anything remotely in time. Anyway, the point is, that was 33 years ago, 32 years ago, whatever. And I used to play those demos to my friends, my DJ friends at the time, people I worked with in the record shop, so musician kind of guys, music people, my dad, and probably the whatever girlfriend I had at that time, and that was probably, looking back, more scary to do than it is now to put a video out, a track out online on SoundCloud or whatever, on TikTok or whatever you use, to the masses in different countries, in different cities, in places you'll never go and people you'll never meet. Far, far worse, because you've got an issue, you've got the physical, facial expression of what, they're hearing, the impressions they're getting. So you get their impression straight away. Whereas you upload a video to a track to SoundCloud, you don't know who's listening to that. It could be somebody in Australia you never ever see or hear from. But what keeps you from releasing your stuff is the fact that is the comments, probably. Is the comments more than anything. Oh, you suck. You're no good. You're this, you're that. Again, from people you'll never meet or never know. And I want to kind of highlight that particular point here, because a lot of people don't like to hear any form of criticism. Me in particular, I'm terrible for it. I'm a lot better now. I'm a whole lot better. But the point is, no one likes to be told you suck at something, do they? And now we've all had it. And even when you don't suck, you've been told you suck. When I've made tracks that, are good or whatever, or what I consider good, or what most people think are good, somebody will always come along and go, I hate it. You will never please everybody. But the thing I want to focus on is the fact that people's comments on your music, if you're worried about people's comments on your music, it says more about them than it does you, okay? The comments that people leave are, if they're really sharp and bad, they're basically people with serious unhealed trauma, people with serious, inner wounds because they feel crap about themselves. So the only way for them to get feeling better is to pick on something else. It's the same with bullying. It's the same with any kind of, not just in the creative world, in the outer world, when we're feeling low, we attack what we don't know or don't understand, and we, project our misery onto others. It's simple. I do it all the time, but when it happens in a musical form, when you've made a track and you put your heart and soul into something and you put it on SoundCloud or whatever, and then all of a sudden bloody Weedman55 comes along and goes, mate, this is crap. What is this? You know, blah, 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 blah. It's nothing like so and so. It's nothing like Tech House or whatever you do. And then it's like, and then you look at their profile and you go, mate, you've not even uploaded anything. How dare you come on here and tell me that I suck when you've got nothing to back it up with? You see, so those people that are doing that are beneath you anyway. Yeah, you know, and hopefully they'll find their own way eventually. But when they're targeting your thing, it makes you feel discouraged and you go, well, I don't want to release anything because I don't want to wake up to a comment or someone saying I'm trash or this or that. You know, but you've got to look at how unimportant it really is. And then there's obviously that saying that if they're not talking about you, then you're doing something wrong. If you've not got haters, then you're doing something wrong. It shows that you're doing something right, because if you're on the right path with people commenting and criticizing, if people are doing it out of pure stupidity, which they're just complete idiots. I've had people completely condemn stuff I've done without any substance to it whatsoever. It's just a rage. And it often makes me think, was it somebody I know? You know what I mean? It's like you end up, you know, buying into the comment and then you get discouraged. It can and it has happened to me, and it will happen to you, and it has happened to you. So you've got to kind of think the internet isn't real, right? It's all fake polished stuff most of the time, you know, in terms of people don't put on their hard work, their hardships. You don't see these Instagrammers, you know, farting and burping in the morning and you know, and ringing up a call center to pay a bill and, you know, and getting angry and stressed. You see them with the glossy side, you know, oh, look at me with my latte. You know, it's nonsense, isn't it? So you never see the raw side of life. Well, you do, but you know what I mean, with polished things, with art, creativity, projection, you know, it's very rare that you see the grind up to it. And it's like with my stuff, you know, with a lot of my videos, you know, when I do my tutorials and you know, and I've tried to polish my stuff as much as I can, because you don't want to see the roughness of it. But in terms of your music, getting back to the grind, you need to be confident enough to put your music on SoundCloud, even if you know you're going to get better in 6 months or in a week's time. Even if you put it out there and get some feedback and go, okay, well, someone will come along and be constructive and go, this is good, but you need to just tweak the bass line a bit, or I would suggest lowering that vocal or taking that vocal out and putting it there. People that are constructive and supportive and progressive, they're the people you want to hear from. But if you don't put your music out and, you know, wage war with the bad, you're not going to get the good either. You see what I mean? There's a lot of good people out there, a lot of supportive people out there. And the thing is with music is it's so competitive, and I don't know why so many people are so negative and, you know, hateful towards others. You know, DJs hate other DJs, and we're all into the same thing. Do you know what I mean? It's like if you get two people that make piano house. One guy lives in Toronto, the other guy lives in London, right? And one guy doesn't like the other guy's track because he feels threatened by it. He feels like he's better than him, maybe. So he'll attack him. It sucks, it's crap. But then if you put them two in the room together and give them a set of records and a DJ set together, then play back-to-back piano house, they'll have a great time. So a lot of people end up hating on each other when really they need to be supporting each other because they're into the same thing. And that's the thing. If you put out your music and you make a piano house track, put it on SoundCloud, chances are you're going to encourage other people to listen to it and comment on it, you know. So as well as get people that is going to go, oh, it sucks, I don't like it, or thumbs down. You know, you get it. I get thumbs down all the time on my videos on YouTube, but it makes me laugh because I think, oh, okay, maybe they're disliking it because it's come up in their algorithm and they don't want to see that kind of content, which does happen. Or maybe they're just people that just want to see me, you know, do bad. I don't know. But I don't dwell on that really anymore. I see I get 100 likes out of 3 or 4 dislikes, you know, so swings and roundabouts. But you've got to put yourself out there in order to get the good and the bad. You know, you can't have it all. And that's the internet. The problem with the internet is that everybody's got access to it, you know? And, but it's the nature of the beast, isn't it? So what I'm saying is get your music out, no matter what state your demo is in. You know, don't be afraid of shame, criticism, judgment, being mocked, being hated, trying to be perfect in an imperfect world. It's just never going to work, is it? You know, you're never going to be fully ready. I have made and released over 200 tracks in 25, 30 years. I've probably made in the region of 1,500 to 2,000 maybe 3,000 demos that's never been released or never been finished, going way back to the early 90s. I've done so many more tracks unreleased than I have released. And it's the same with the great composers. Beethoven, Mozart, whoever, they all made thousands and thousands of sketches and tracks and whatever, but only so many of their pieces are classics. They made loads of mistakes, they made loads of errors and things that never came to fruition. There's no difference in what we do today digitally. We produce so much stuff and have thousands of unfinished releases on our hard drive. I've got loads myself. So, as I say, it's important that you put your stuff out. And if you put out a track, right, let's say you put out a track today on SoundCloud, you want your mates to hear it, you want your friends, your family, work colleagues, whoever it is you respect and trust, and you want people that follow you on your socials, and you put it out, and perhaps the drum beats are not mixed as great as they could be, they're not as powerful as they should be, but the idea and the enthusiasm for your music is there, right? You've got to put that out, and you've got to be prepared for, sometimes some people will be faking, oh, it's brilliant, and they're just trying to be supportive, and that's fine. But then what you've got to do is leave that track up, right? Because I work with people that will put tracks up and then they'll remove them quickly off SoundCloud. They'll be gone within a day or two because they want to improve. And I get that. However, you should leave your track on, and that same track that you're working on, go back and refine it, go back and upgrade it, tweak it, tidy it up, and then put it back on in a week's time, 3 weeks, month, whatever, and then listen to the comparison of how you've improved it. Because if you don't compare your original version to your latest version, you're never going to learn, are you? And you're never going to know. But you've got to leave stuff out there for people to go, oh, this doesn't sound right, that works, that's great, this is that. And then obviously you're going to get your dicks that are going to go, but we don't worry about them, do we? So that's my whole point of the video, really, is to remember that putting your stuff out online is not as scary as it was, or for any of you, that playing it in front of other people. Play it to your partner, play it to your best friend, play it to your kids, whatever, I don't know. Get kids' opinions. They're quite brutal sometimes. They can be really honest without realising they're not trying to be hurtful, they're just honest, sometimes. It's always a good one to get. So, just keep ploughing on, keep going. Don't fear putting your stuff out, because I know so many people I know that they just don't want to put it out. Oh, I'm not ready. You're never going to be ready. So, just look at it like that. You're never going to be ready, so therefore, you're ready. Put it out, do something, finish that one track, stop trying to be, at the level of Calvin Harris in terms of finished product. I'm not saying about his style of music if you don't like it. What I'm saying is he's at the top of his game. You're not going to be Daft Punk at Oya when you're down here. Daft Punk are up here, Calvin Harris is up here. The polished sort of final production records I'm talking about. You're never going to be that. But if you look at Daft Punk's first album, it's an absolute pile of noise, most of it. A lot of it's just raw, rough and ready stuff. Do you know what I mean? Compared to then what happened when they did Discovery, and then what was the third album? I can't remember what it's called. We Are Humans or something. What was it called? Anyway, that one. And then up to their last one, Random Access Memory, whatever it's called. You've got to look at how something develops, and if they never did their first record, which was called by a journalist, this sounds like Daft Punk music, and that's where they got the name from, because there was something else before that. They might have never have progressed to Daft Punk if they not put that first record out. And was it Soma Records took a chance on him? Someone took a chance on him anyway in the early 90s. And that record got a review, and the journalist goes, oh, it sounds like Daft Punk music. What a genius sort of accident that was for the journalist to coin the world's most famous dance band, but then at the same time, the band to go, that's the name, we're having that name, let's keep going. They could have quit then when that review came through and go, oh, we're done, we're just rubbish punk music, but they didn't, they kept going. And that's the beauty of, putting your stuff out and not being afraid of it. So that's what I wanted to say, really. I've rambled on enough. If you want any sort of personal mentoring, give me a shout. Waxlist.com. I'm not going to bore you with the details, but I do personal music mentoring, and I do mentoring like this as well, talking and making you confident in releasing your stuff and building you up behind the scenes. So rather than just help you to make music and finish tracks, I can also show you how to set a record label up and market your music and the things to use for your artwork and all the kind of stuff that goes on in the background, the boring red tape stuff. I can show you that as well. But yeah, as I say, keep putting your music out and send me your stuff. Drop a link in the comments down below. Give me a shout. See you later.